Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It is Mrs. Monster and I'm going to be talking to you today about my experiences with medication. Specifically my experiences with antidepressant discontinuation syndrome, which is a huge mouthful. Now I take medication, I take antidepressants, and I have for about 18 months now. I very much regard my decision to take antidepressants as my personal choice. And I have had many people in my life, be they people I know or strangers on the internet, telling me that taking antidepressants is a waste of time, or that all I need to do is get up and go for a run on a nice sunny day, which is utter bullshit, isn't it? Come on. So I've chosen to take antidepressants. I take 100 milligrams of sertraline, which is an SSRI, which I think stands for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, I think. Google it. God bless Google. Like I said, I've been taking it about 18 months now, and I see it as something that really helps me day to day. So I'm going to draw a line under that for the moment because that is for another video. But yes, I had an experience a few weeks back with antidepressant discontinuation syndrome, which is a thing, which I didn't know. Basically, I am quite a forgetful person. If I don't write it down, or I have it in a calendar or a diary, or I have an alarm set, I'm pretty much not going to do it unless it's, you know, part of my daily routine. So every night at 8:30 I have an alarm that goes off, and I take my medication. Now sometimes I'll go a day without taking it, you know, by accident. My alarm will go off and I'll just switch it off. I'll be in the middle of doing something and say, oh, I'll do it in a sec, or I'll do it in 10 minutes, whatever. I almost always forget. But I almost always remember to take it the next day. But a couple of weeks ago, what I must have done was somehow turned the alarm off on my phone, as in completely off. And I didn't notice that I hadn't taken my medication until it got to about 5 days, and I started feeling really confused, and my moods were really erratic, and I got really brain zappy. I'll explain that a bit more in a bit. Anyone who knows what brain zaps are and have gone through them, my commiserations. They're horrible. They're in no way painful, but they are so annoying. Anyway, yeah, I started feeling quite unwell, and I started feeling mainly very confused, and my sleeping in itself isn't great, but it was getting worse, and that's when I realised that I hadn't taken my medication for nearly a week. Now what I should have done was go straight to the pharmacy the day after, and got an emergency sort of lot of pills. I've done that before, and then ordered my prescription. But I thought, no, I'll be fine. I'll do it at the week. I'll do it on Monday or something. But I just kept putting it off. It was not so much putting it off, but sort of not having it at the forefront of my mind, and during this time I was getting increasingly worse. So actually it ended up being about a fortnight of me not having my medication, and just a disclaimer, that's the longest I've ever gone without taking my medication. Before then it was about sort of 3 days, where I started getting a bit brain zappy and realised I'm not taking my medication. So basically what I had done to myself was I had gone cold turkey from my medication, which I do not recommend anyone should ever do because it's horrible. If you do want to come off your antidepressants, please go to your doctor or your healthcare professional, and they will tell you and show you how to do it properly. Because what I went through for 2 weeks was utterly horrible. I can't even describe to you just how miserable, confused, upset. I was just in utter despair. So yes, like I said, I'm going to talk to you about antidepressant discontinuation syndrome. I didn't actually know it was a thing until I googled what these symptoms were that I was feeling. Like I said, I have gone through like brain zaps and stuff before, which I already knew was because I hadn't taken my medication. But I googled confusion, brain zaps, I felt really sick, like nauseous, really nauseous, and really like quite like fluey, you know, when you just feel really unwell. My sleeping itself had got really bad. Like I said, I'm not a good sleeper. I haven't been since I was about 17. I've had sort of sporadic insomnia, but I was either not sleeping at all, or I was sleeping way too much, and I was having really, really vivid nightmares. I'm one for nightmares anyway, but these were so much worse. There was sort of like a sensory thing that was going on, and the best way I can describe it is, you know, when you've had, like, if you drink, you've like had a couple of drinks, and you just feel really lightheaded and a bit giddy. I became really emotionally unstable, which in the past, before I got onto my antidepressants, was quite a regular occurrence for me. I genuinely just thought that's just the way that I was, and then I thought maybe I was bipolar, which I'm not. But I was, it really brought back a lot of dysphoria that I have had experiences with dysphoria. Thankfully my medication helps me with that. But that got worse. My anxiety was through the roof. I was having panic attacks. I was like just on edge all day. And again, I was just really, really confused. Now these are things like, you know, singularly are just symptoms of like PMS or a cold or flu, whatever. But altogether, were actually something quite frightening, and actually an experience I never ever want to go through again. I was miserable. So I reiterate, if anyone is thinking that they can go cold turkey off their antidepressants, even if it's a small dosage, I really, really do not recommend doing it. So like I said, when I was going through all this, I did Google these symptoms, and it came up with Antidepressant Discontinuation Syndrome, which, again, didn't know it was a thing, but it is, and now you know. So here's a public message from Mrs. Monster: Antidepressant Discontinuation Syndrome is a thing. So yeah, I googled this, and it kind of made me feel a little bit better that what I was going through was normal, that I wasn't like having a stroke, or I was, you know, forever going to have to be on antidepressants, because otherwise this was going to be my new reality. So I read up about it. I'm like that. If I find something new, I have to know everything about it. Which, and if it's mental health, everyone will know it's very possible, because literally there's a whole world out there. The thing I found most alarming and most surprising was this ASD. I've never come across it before when it comes to reading, you know, the safety information you get in your medication. I am one of those people. Every time I get a new box, I always read through. I'm always fascinated by what it is. But I'd never seen these three words together, the Antidepressant Discontinuation Syndrome. I'd never seen those together. I genuinely thought if this was such a thing, then maybe it would be in the safety information you get in your medication, but it wasn't, which I was really surprised about. So it's actually that, paired with my experience as a whole, and how distressing it was, and how inconsolably miserable I was for 2 weeks. It's really made me want to talk about this more, because again, I mean, taking antidepressants is very much a choice for the most part, and it was a choice I made, and one that I am really, really happy to have done, and I feel like they really have given me a lot of my life back since starting to take them. But I was totally unaware of absolutely everything to do with taking any sort of medication, so I wanted to make this vlog and talk about it. What I'm going to do is, I know I've listed a couple of the symptoms I had while going through the withdrawal of my medication, but I'm just going to list on screen some symptoms. So if you or someone you know, someone you love, your partner, whatever, sibling, is going through these, it might be something to look into. So I'm just going to outline Antidepressant Discontinuation Syndrome symptoms, and hopefully it'll help just one person. So ASD has, the common symptoms of ASD are flu-like symptoms, so like nausea, vomiting, headaches, sweating, sleep disturbances, which include insomnia, nightmares, or constant sleepiness, sensory or movement disturbances such as imbalance, vertigo, tremors or dizziness, brain zaps, those cozy little things that go in your brain. I've experienced them a few times, like I've said, and they feel like little electric shocks in your brain, and like I said, they're completely painless, but they are really, really annoying and really, really noticeable. Mood disturbances and emotional volatility, and that's something that I really struggled with when going through this. I was really bitchy to my husband. I was nasty as hell to him. I feel really bad about that, but now that I know what it was, I feel less bad. It wasn't my fault. These can include dysphoria, anxiety, agitation, easy irritation, general bitchiness. You know. Cognitive disturbances such as confusion, and more uncommonly, but it has been reported, is acute psychosis, which is, if you haven't ever had experiences of acute psychosis or any kind of a psychosis, it's quite scary. I've had experience with that in the past, and it's not fun. It's really not fun. So they're just like the more common symptoms of ASD, which, like I said, if you or someone you know, someone you love, whatever, is experiencing these symptoms, it might be good to look into this. Thankfully, all these symptoms can be stopped by taking your medication again, which after I had realised what I'd done, I went to the pharmacy and got my medication back, fulfilled my my prescription. I'm such a bugger with it. I'm so bad at remembering to reorder my prescription, so I think the pharmacist actually noticed this. So actually it's automatically renewed for me now, and I just go in and get them every month, which is great for me because I am terrible at remembering things. If you do want to come off your antidepressants though, I strongly advise you go to your doctor or health professional and get the proper advice and proper way to do these things, because as I said, going cold turkey I do not recommend. And I was only on sertraline, which, you know, is strong enough, but it's not, you know, it's not the hardcore stuff. So I can only imagine what it's like going cold turkey off something stronger. It must be 100 times worse. So yeah, if you want to come off your antidepressants, don't ride it out. It really isn't worth it. It so isn't worth it. Do it right, do it properly, do it safely. So yes, thank you for watching this video, guys. I hope you found it interesting or useful. If not, I hope that you enjoyed looking at me for 15 minutes. And my amazing Reese's Pieces cushion, which I've had for ages and I love it. It's just been washed, so that's why it's all floppy like that. But yes, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't done so already and you do like what you see, please consider hitting that subscribe button and give me a big thumbs up. If you did like it, it really helps me out. And I will see you next week. Bye guys.